All right, let me look through some of these suggestions here. I see Zart is in there. Zart, what you got for me? Oh, the book. Siku. Why are you such a candy DM? How can I avoid being like you? All right, Siku wants to argue with me. Let's go. All right, DM Hotline. This is Monty Hall. What can I do for you?
Oh, there you go. Can you hear
There
me?
we go. There we go. What's up?
Okay. I think you just really need to get better at what you're doing. Your YouTube channel's kind of boring lately.
It's I'm just not any good at anything. It's the problem. And
True.
and it shows. What would you suggest? How's
For which
your
one?
for being less boring?
Oh, less shorts. Shorts are really bad. Heard
Okay,
from experience YouTube.
less shorts. You prefer more long form content?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a non-hour long, what's the point?
Okay. So I upload about 20 hours a week worth of content. Is that still not long enough? I have more hours of D&D than on my channel than Critical Role. Is that
That
sufficient?
backlog though. Fair enough. Oh, hey though. Since we are talking about DM stuff,
Okay.
you are. How do you feel about the whole like role playing among players thing? Because I know your opinion's a little different on this one.
Okay. Role playing among players. Hit me.
Yeah. So like they're taking they're they are taking time to role play amongst themselves. Um I don't know, different play styles, I guess, where they are 20, 30 minutes of role play. You is that do you care for that? Is there a way to move it forward without that? Or is it
Uh,
just different set play styles?
it is if every player is having fun, I'm having fun. That's really like if all four players, that
Right.
I could do Kill Brew for 4 hours. I could sit there like if
Totally.
I love it as long as everybody else is on board. I feel like maybe I'm misunderstanding your question. Can you rephrase it?
So, yeah, I guess it's if everyone's on board, it's pretty easy, just chill and do what you gotta do. But if it's like one person pulling that person out of their shell, I guess, if they even really want to do that, that part is a little. Because then if everyone's like on board except one, I don't want to leave that person out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
But then I don't want to like force the party to move on to the next thing just because one person is kind of like over it.
there's going to be times where you don't get to be in the spotlight, and I think everybody at the table should accept that. So if you have three hardcore role players that just love to role play, and then you have one person's like, I'm just here for the combat. There's got to be there's ways to combine the two, but at some point the RPers are going to be like, okay, let's get this, let's do this combat. This person wants to do their combat thing, or okay, let's do this role play. This person, these people want to do their role play thing. You have
Right.
to kind of, you can meet everyone's need. You don't have to meet everybody's need. There, all right. You don't have to meet everybody's needs at the same time. You've got a whole session to move the spotlight around to where people can role play and combat and puzzles, and everybody gets what they want. They may not get what they want all the time, but that's just the nature of being, being in a cooperative game like that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Just I guess not stress out so much about not being able to meet a need in for one moment since you're meeting it for the other players. I
Yeah,
like that spotlight example. Because
yeah.
yeah, I already think about that with like different players, like, okay, it's this person's arc and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so like I don't mind paying attention, but then I didn't think about it in the terms of, role play versus combat spotlight with different players like cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
So a really good example. just kind of like off the top of my head is, let's say, okay, we walk into the tavern and you've got your list of NPCs at the ready. You've got voices for all of them. Your three out of the 4 players are hardcore role players, and they're ready to go. They walk into the tavern, they start role playing, they start hitting it, and you can transition. So the three of the 4 people are getting what they want. They're role playing with the NPCs, and you can transition the conversation to a bar fight, and then that one combat person gets what they want. So the 3 role players are role playing with a bunch of thugs trying to get information, or they're just like exploring their backstories or whatever. And somebody says something offensive, or somebody takes something the wrong way and takes a swing, and then now suddenly we're in combat. One person gets what they want. Combat's over. The thug is unconscious. We can go back to role playing, and just like everybody, like I feel like in that example, everybody got what they want out of
Right.
that.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be a whole fucking encounter of like a big thing. If you do those small encounters, that makes sense in the situation. I like that. I like that bar fight example. That's good.
Mhm.
Work different things into that.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah,
plenty
I'm
of
so
there's
used to the big boss fights, especially, with the one shots you run. I'm used to the big boss fights at the end. I keep thinking in those terms. I forget to do the little stuff along the way.
yeah done. You can do it. So you can do it in dungeons as well. People adventures. A fun way to think about dungeons, like if they're underground and like in a goblin cave, and you're just like, oh, how do I make a role play encounter out of, how do I put role play in here in a place that's clearly hostile. You could assume that other adventurers have gone in there and died, and there you could put ghosts. Ghosts are a great way to have a role play encounter. I've preached to the moon my love for ghosts and awakened animals. They can be a ghost and an awakened animal can be literally anywhere in the world, and so there's no excuse. There's nowhere you can't name a location where I can't put an awakened animal or a ghost and be like, okay, this is we have and as long as you have those two, you have a role play encounter. As long as those two exist, a role play encounter is possible. It could be an awakened spider that escaped some druid's hovel. It could be an adventurer
I
that
like
died in
that.
this cave, and their unfinished business is whatever the main quest is.
I like that. I definitely should use ghosts more. I don't use those enough despite running Crystal Shot.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks, man.
Anything else
Let
for
you
me?
keep answering. No, doing great, man. Let you keep answering your stuff.
All right. Later, bud.